Hey, who just flashed me? Who is that? Right, you're welcome to this training. And without hesitation, we're going to start. If you could recall, the last time we met, we examined the components of what? Of data governance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can somebody tell me what are the components of data governance?
People.
People, yeah, that's good. That's very brilliant. And people.
Standardization.
Sorry?
Standard. Data standard.
Standard, that's very good. Data standard, okay. Data governance standard. That's good. What else again?
Policy, process.
Process. I love that. Process, data governance process. That's good. What else again?
I think security.
Security.
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You think or you know?
I know. Security.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. Some people are very ready to fly. What else again?
Communication.
Communication. That's very good. Absolutely. That's very good. What else again? Do you want to give some people time?
I'll give some people time to talk, yeah.
Yeah, some people time to talk. That's very good. Wow, that's good. All right. So, what else again?
Paul, talk for us, I beg.
No, just try this one first.
Yeah.
Brother.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right, another person? Yeah, Paul, you want to finish because they have phoned a friend now, which is you.
They have phoned a friend, okay. Metrics
and KPI. That's very, very
KPI, yeah.
That's good. That's absolutely wonderful. Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And then another one is communication.
Which
Socialization.
Socialization.
Somebody's there now.
Yeah. Socialization. That's very, very good. Do you know who said that?
No.
Who is in the iPhone? Is he?
Rita.
That's me.
Rita. Okay, this Rita. Rita, iPhone. Let me change the name. Rita.
What?
We have two Rita here now. We have one Princess Rita. But we have
Queen Rita.
Yeah.
Queen Rita.
Queen Rita.
Yeah.
What's him?
Absolutely.
One a Queen Rita, one a Princess.
Yeah. One
Rita.
Go on, who are?
Yeah. So thank you. I mean, there's one thing remaining.
One thing remaining.
Technology. Okay. All right. Which one again remaining?
None.
No.
Yeah, there is one remaining. Hello, yeah. I know you mentioned of people. You talk about. There are two remaining. Strategy, that's correct. And there's one still remaining. The one that is remaining is the one we treat today.
Policy.
Policy. Yeah. In fact, let's clap for Paul today.
Paul, well done.
Yeah.
Thank you, my brother.
Paul, I also well.
Worry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We are going to do together.
and also Rita.
Efe, you need to do something.
Yes. Don't worry about that. So all of us, we are here to learn. You must understand that we are here to learn. Everyone is under construction. How are we going to make it? You understand? So if you know the components of the data governance program, data governance, you're definitely going to know what to start when you are employed. Okay? Yeah, so I mentioned during our open day that data is the most valuable asset in organization after its people. That's why we started with people. Okay? And people, you get the people, you will have a strategy, long-term plan, and you will have a policy and a process, and also the standards in order to achieve, best practice. Okay, and when the standards are set, you secure your program. That's what security is. And then you socialize the program you have across all functional departments or even externally as well. And then you communicate the same. So in that, there will be like also collaboration as well. And then you set up a metrics in which you use to measure the effectiveness of your program. And on that, you must have key indicators, key performance indicator, KPI, which you can use to evaluate if you are below standard as well. And use technology to, automate your system and also run your system. And then you can always revert back. Those components are very, very important. And if you are being trained as a data governance, you do not understand what component is, it's a potential hazard. So thank you too much. Today, those who have received the literature, those who have not received the literature because you didn't ask for it, will not be able to have it. But those who have asked for it, you already have it. So very important you get to know what you're doing. Thank you so much. I'm very, very impressed. At least I was even expecting only 2 or 3 so that answer, but at least almost everybody finished. Yeah, so very well give me the answer. All right. That being said, today will be a special day. Let me see. I'm going to treat data governance policy today. Okay? Can any of you see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Hello? Can you see what
Yes,
I'm sharing?
we can see it.
Yes, consider.
Thank
Yes,
you.
we can. Yes.
Thank you. Please, this is a section that requires more interaction. So we must be able to know how to communicate in this place. And don't be afraid to speak. That's why we're here. And as a data governance, I should be seeing you speaking because you'll be talking to stakeholders. They're not going to be paying you big money for nothing. They will know that what you know is what you will communicate. So and we can always learn how to communicate right here. We shouldn't be afraid of communication. That's why we're here. Don't forget that as a trainer, both the trainer and the trainee are learning. So speak. And if you are prompted especially, you have to speak. You have to talk. So pay attention. All right. So we talk about the data governance policy. Very, very important. Very, very important because you cannot carry out a program without policy. So one of the things that are required in most cases, even during your interview or when you want to apply for a position of data governance they would say someone who will go to develop policies. Policies are very important. Okay. That being said, have you heard the word policies before? Have you heard the word policy before?
Yeah, the policies.
Yes.
Who said yes?
I said yes.
I like Tony say, I say yes. I say who said yes before, so I don't know that. So anyway, what do you understand by policy?
And the policies are like they're like guidelines, stated guidelines, directions or procedures that one have to follow. The policies are governing kind of procedures to use. It's a guide.
Good. Thank you so much, Tony. Who else can tell me what policy is? Do we all agree to do I agree to Paul? To Tony?
Yeah, it's a procedure a company have to follow.
Okay.
It's a procedure that is set up in a company or in an organization that the people need to follow.
Okay, that's good. That's good. More.
It's a legal thing. Anyway, if you break that the policy, you'll be liable to persecution or anything, or discipline.
I love your attempt. Very, very nice. Okay. All right. Thank you. I know you must buttress Tony. Okay. Who else again? Because everybody will tell me what policy is. We have barristers here. We have lawyers here. So we'll be the last people to speak.
It's like a legally binding document, and which defines responsibilities that will be outlined within the context for us to follow in every organization.
That is cool. So what's your background, Sylvester?
Me?
Yeah.
Healthcare and social management.
Okay. That's good. You're very amazing. Okay. So Rita Healthcare, Healthcare, Sylvester Healthcare. All right. Thank you so much. What is policy, every other person? Okay. Anyway, if any of you has gotten it so wrong, we have lawyers and barristers here, so they will correct easily. So, however, I think
policies are laws that are put in place to govern an organization.
If that comes from a solicitor. Thank you, Princess Rita. Okay. Yeah. That's very good. So if we got something wrong, they will tell us quickly as well when it comes to that. Okay? All right. So now I have my own definition. It's subject to further scrutiny by any of us. But the question I want to ask, must policy be only for organization? Can't it not be on individual policy?
It could be for individuals.
Good.
Yeah, I think it must be for everybody, I suppose.
For public too. Public.
Okay, what about personal policy?
Yes.
Yeah, it can be used for individual as well as to.
Okay.
Well, it's policies in the health and social care is a policy that is used to support an individual or the trust during a legal action, when a legal action is taken legal action is taken against somebody, or you have the right to take a legal action against somebody. You have to know that what if it has an individual breach the policy by even handling your patient or your individual person that is under their care or anything like that. So in terms of health and social care policy, is used to protect the individual and also to take to use of the trust during the legal action process. Those are the things you can look for before.
That's good.
Well, I mean, for my understanding of policy, I think I've heard this for a long time ago in my life when I was growing up.
Okay.
I had a school headmaster who used to say, "My son, if you're going out, you must come back by 6 o'clock. That's my policy."
Your father was a teacher, or?
Yes. So that my policy is 6 o'clock, enter this house. That's my policy. I mean, so it doesn't have to be legal, but policy could be your principles, your guidelines, that you follow, that you lay down, and they have to be followed. So it could be rules and regulations that you ought to follow in a particular situation. That situation could be company, it could be individual, it could be a corporate body, but it's a procedure that you have to follow. It's the rule laid down.
I love that. Do we have do we believe what
I think the rules and the principles of individual falls under the guidelines of within a company or within your home or within anywhere. But the policies are legal documents defined where you have to work within your policies in your organization or in that way. But that's why sometimes they say policies and guidelines. The guidelines now, maybe you are following the guideline of, as your father was maybe saying, that is his principle and his guidelines. That, look, my principle is you go out, you come back 6 o'clock. If you don't, you stay outside. Well, that is within my health and social care. That is the way I know policy and guidelines intertwine with works. But the policy is within the jurisdiction, which legal action can be taken against you if you breach the policy. So.
But policy in this regard, as they said, is a principle of action that need to be adhered to, but by organization and by also on an individual. Individual can have a policy, organization can have a policy.
Yes.
So it's for everyone anyway. Because if you have you live in a home, there's a policy you need to guide with. The children, the family have to lead to those policies. You go to an organization, it's the same thing. So I don't see there's any difference between the policies of an individual or the policy of an organization. Everything has a process.
Your home, I think, if I'm not mistaken, your home, you have a guardian. You are their guardian. So you have a guardian. You have a guidelines in your home. But then you have the policy. You are working within. No. You are living within the policy of maybe children, children's whatever protection is a policy from the government. Yes. So
government has nothing to do with policy of my home. There are certain things you need to do. There are certain things the government has already imposed as a policy to take care of your family.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But then you, as an individual, you have guidelines
nothing having to do with
in your home.
With the government. The
well,
policy I led in my house is nothing to do with the policy of the government.
Yeah, but I think policy need monitoring. So if you look into the
Yes.
word policy, it's very
Yes.
similar to policing.
Yes.
Policing, policy. So policy, you got these principles that need to be guided against anything that goes contrary to what your policies are. Okay, it doesn't make sense. But what I'm saying is a policy is in place and that need to be followed.
Thank you so much. I've been enjoying myself.
Thank you, sir.
So we have so much brilliant people in this platform. I mean,
for me,
the work will be so easy.
hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Yeah, for me, a policy is a laid down rule or guideline putting in place by an organization or an individual to control and structure his or her daily activity.
Simple.
Yes.
Simple. That is it. So, very, 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 very simple. Please, I want you to understand this. Let it be written in the tablet of your heart that, you know, if you know the concept very well, you'll be able to identify what to do. So that being one of the components of data governance, we must understand the concept himself. So different definition has come, but almost, kind of coming together to be one. The difference is that we're talking about parastatals and also private. Whichever may be the case, policy is policy. However, each of them have different jurisdiction. That's what we believe it is. So I only ask the question to know whether policy is only for organization or what about individual. If it's individual, what is the essence of? Tony was able to identify why the dad would say, my policy is that when you go out social time, you must be in. That is the principle, guidelines, ethical, moral, that really actually guiding his fathers are there. Okay. But in any case, we still have organization. So with that policy, things tend to fail. Most cases. So in context, let us define it. Maybe I'll borrow your definition, okay, in my definition. So we must, have it as something that we must take serious at all time. So a policy is a set of guidelines, okay? It's a set of guidelines or rules, okay, established by an organization or even individual, to achieve specific goals or objectives. Policy can cover a wide range of areas, such as governmental parastatals regulations, organizational policies, procedures, or personal principles. You see where individual comes in now. So they provide a framework for decision-making and also an action within a particular context. So like what Tony said, okay, it's very, very important. And all of you have actually alluded to this anyway. Whether personal or corporate entity, policy is policy. But the enforcement of the same requires the dimension and scale of what is expected to be as a consequence if it is not as strictly adhered to. So that being said, data governance policies have so many types of policies. So when you are employed, you are expected to have different policy. For example, we have data ownership policy, because in data governance, we have data stewards, we have data owner. So, and the owner has a policy. Example of it is this actually defines the roles and responsibility of data owners. So if you want to draft a policy, the one relating to data owner, which of course is referred to as data ownership policy, you must define the role of that data owner. Let me just explain something to you. If court requires a bank account of an individual from a bank, the bank cannot just give aid to the court. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Without express consent of the data owner. So now, first of all, if somebody requires, ordinary person without the court requires the bank statement of an individual from a bank, that bank cannot give it, except you have a consent from the owner of the bank. I mean, the owner of the bank account. But in principle, if you have a court order requiring such, then even the data owner the data stewards cannot give it out without the approval of the data owner. Data owner is a person who is a custodian. It's a custodian of your data in the bank. The steward is the enforcer. So now the enforcer will first of all get the information, and the enforcer cannot do it without the data owner. The enforcer will say, well, this is something that will be enforced as authorized from the court. But the enforcer, which is also the data stewards, cannot give the documents to the court without express consent of the data owner, which of course the overall person who need to take a decision based on that order from court. So the data owner owns most cases data owner are functional department head. So there must be a policy. It has a role. In that role need to be defined. When you are writing a policy in data governance program, and the one that related to data ownership, you need to define the roles. In that policy, you need to define the roles. So when you are employed and you see that things are not well defined, and you want to make sure that the policy need to be well defined in order to achieve the quality of data that is required, you need to either develop or write a policy that is robust enough to accommodate the complexity of the data, which of course, the data owner is one of the stakeholders. So a policy of data owner must define the role of that data owner and the responsibility of the data owner as well, such as department heads or business unit leaders. These kind of people, they are very accountable for specific data sets. So you have to outline the process for appointing such as well in that policy. Appointed data owner in that policy and their authority in making data-related decisions, cascading down to whoever may be the stewards of such data or data set. Very, very important. So ownership is someone who is responsible and accountable of data as at that time, wherever that data needs to be. If it's an accounting department, the head of accounting department may be the data owner. If it is engineering, the head of maintenance or engineer may be the data owner. But in most cases, you find it difficult when you are being employed to identify the data owner because some of them run away. They don't really want to take responsibility and accountability based on the data that are in their custody. So first of all, they're going to feel that there's a burden on what is it in it for me. But then you have to let them know the importance of the quality of data in their custody. So that is one of the policies. I'm going to ask question, the kind of policy, how many policy or what kind of policy you know about. We have data classification and sensitivity policy. This policy categorizes this data in different sensitivity levels. It could be public, internal, or confidential. Have you heard of confidential data before? Information?
Yep.
Thank you, Tony. Is all Tony have seen confidential information?
Yes.
Who else again? Who else again know anything about confidential information?
I do.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Now, there are some data that ought not to be made known to everyone, even within the company itself. There are some data that ought not to be made known to everyone. And you have to write a policy to that effect. Why is it that it does not need to be made known to everyone? And classification simply means also the data has to be put in a format, specific format. What are the kind of format can data be put or classified?
If you come, please.
Sorry? Hello, Rita, did you just say something?
No.
Okay. Now, what kind of format do you think data can be put? What kind of format? Kind of classified? Hello, do you want to phone a friend?
Well, I mean, you have classified and unclassified.
Yeah, if you want to classify and classify the data.
I've heard of people say classified information by the government, and such
Is it about
information, I think,
controlling the access of the information?
Have you heard of a case in the United States that classified documents and somebody took it home?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yes.
And what happened?
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump,
Yeah.
popular.
Okay, if you look at the chatbots, Barrister Manuel put something in local authority. There are 3 levels of classifications: official, secret, and top secret.
Wow.
And the barrister put top. So take notes. Whatever is on the chat box, please take note of them. You can copy and put it in your, because we're all learning. A lot of people, some people are in a place that they can't talk, but they don't want to miss the training. And because they are also contributing as well. So please take note of that. So it could be official, it could be secret, it could be top secret. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it depends on the level of sensitivity. Okay? So you can also make documents public and some internal. If you look at website of some company, you can access certain things about them. But when you want to go deeper, they will say, register on your name, your address, your this, then you have access to some. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Okay. What you put in public domain might not be the same thing that will be in internal and confidential. It depends on sensitivity. And you need to have a policy gathering that. It is a policy based on top secret and secret that is making somebody to be going to court now. If that policy, because the policy was not adhered to, and that is why somebody is going to court now, it can be resorted to legal risk and non compliance issue arising. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, and specifies how each category should be handled. Like I know almost everyone here giving an example from health and social care and whatever. So each of these classifications depends on the enterprise, the organization that you're having. So, but whichever may be the case, you must specify how each category should be handled in the policy. So in that policy, you must adhere to this. And it may include guidelines on encryption end to end. So don't just say I encrypted this information, but what are the guidelines that result to it? You must also have access control issue and sharing restriction for some sensitive data. So in that policy, you know, it is very important. For example, if you go to the chat box, you will see a barrister, Emmanuel, put that President Trump took very sensitive documents home. That's the issue. The policy does not allow anybody to take sensitive document home. So that breach could be held very serious and could lead to being prosecuted or charged brought against him in court. It is a serious case. That is why you being a data governance manager, you should know what is sensitive or what is not sensitive, what is classified and what is not classified. That's why I brought this out for the training first after the component of data governance. Policy, very, very important. If this is, okay, let me go back to a place where you need to know. If you look at this job, I'm going to go back to the beginning. Can you see this job? How much
Yes.
is it?
125,000.
Per annum.
I don't know.
Maybe this person is just about to start, okay? All right.
Mm.
Now, they're paying you for that. What are you going to do? Number one, to develop data governance what?
Policies.
Did you see that? Did you see that? Number one?
Yes.
Policies. Okay, policy, e.g., data retention.
Okay.
So now they're paying you heavily because there are policies. So anything you are being trained at this moment is what you'll be meeting at work. And also to translate data policy needs into a series of action, the needs for it, and to actualize and to let it be actualized. Okay, now let me go back. Any data governance job you're going for, you will see it, number one, there, what you are required state to do. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so get it now. So that's why next time when I now ask question, what we do, what we study last, you should be able to know what we're talking about. Okay?
Yeah.
Right, so it's not just having encryption, you must have a guidelines on it, guidelines for access control. Let's just say you have control of access, but what are the guidelines that if access control is your aim, what are the objectives? There are difference between aim and objectives. Have you seen a game like this before?
That.
Okay. What are you aiming?
It's a target.
The target. So it's now a target. Especially which target? The red one.
Yeah, the center point is red. Yeah.
Okay. Now for you to reach that target, you have objectives.
Yes.
So the first one is aim. Objective is how you could reach there. Okay. So you must have a guidelines to ensure your aim. And it must be spelled out in that policy. So you see how policies are being developed. So simple. When you're going to develop this, don't worry, when you're at work, if you have a problem, we're going to help you out anyway. So that's not a problem. But it's good for you to know what you're developing. Okay? We have data retention policy. You see the one I showed to you the other time on 125,000 per annum. They mentioned data retention policy. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now look at it. If you want to speak of this retention policy, you must outline how long data should be retained in your organization. In your policy, you should be able to outline how long. I think I should make this bold and internalize. Maybe should I even underline it, Tony? You want me to underline it?
Yes.
Underline? Good. Underline.
How long?
How long?
Mm-hmm.
Your data in it should be retained. So when you are asked, what do you understand by retention policy? Say how long.
Okay.
Last month I went to, to the office where I'm the head of data and also safeguarding lead of the entire organization. I was in data governance, head of data. So I have to look at how long the data of people have been kept, especially those who are no longer in the organization. I have to draft up, I have to make sure a policy is scaled up in order to meet up that and reduce the timelines that is expected for data of those people to be retained. And then we discarded, and first of all, we also have to change our policy based on data dissemination, deleting data policy. So we have to make sure it is, the two data has to work in hand in hand so that one can complement the other one, retention and then, discarding of data as well. So it's very important, and I sign it off. Okay, so which data should be archived? Should be archived or deleted, and the legal requirement for data retention. Now, this legal requirement, where do you get it from? Where do you get this requirement from?
Is it from the government or?
You are asking a question, so if you are telling me, I will know. You say, is it from the government? You must be a Nigerian. So let's see what you want to speak. Where do you get this? Okay, I read again. Which data should be archived or deleted, and the legal requirements for data retention. Where do you get that legal requirement from?
Is it from the policy?
You are asking a question.
From the policy.
From the policy and the government or the company you are working with, their policy. The company
you are drafting a policy now, and in that policy, there's a legal requirement for data retention. So what are the legal requirements for data retention that you will enshrine in your retention policy in your organization? Where do you get it from?
Well,
get it from you.
I think you get it from what you've drafted, what you have agreed to, the policy you've agreed to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So who want to phone a friend?
I want to phone barrister.
From the court.
We will phone the barrister.
Get it from the court.
From the court. Who is speaking there? Who is Vivo? Vivo? Hello?
Paul.
Which of the Paul?
Paul Omo.
Ah. Paul. Ah. It's nice seeing you. Yeah.
Welcome, sir.
It's a pleasure indeed. So whenever you see the word legal, you should know that you are operating within a country. And even if you want to draft your policy, your internal policy, it must be in line with what is obtainable. And if you go, for example, I always want you can phone a friend by going to the chat box. We have a barrister there. It's an esquire. This person has practiced as a barrister in Nigeria, practiced in Germany, practiced in London. He's even a high-level standard person in social care. So if you look at what he said there, he said the stakeholders agreed on the policies, which of course, the stakeholder will say there must be a retention policy, but it must be in line with the legal framework in the country, which of course in this Europe is called GDPR. You see what I'm talking about? There are legal requirements.
Okay.
So you will know this very well when you get to understand what's called best practice in the global context.
Okay.
Taking example, using this example as, using the global challenges that you will see when you are dealing with policies and compliance in terms of different countries or continents, and taking advantage of the legal framework that exists in each of those countries and continents. So that was why Facebook was fined $2.4 billion trying to transfer data from Europe to US without taking into cognizance some legal framework. So legal requirements, very, very important. Study what is obtainable in each of them. Okay? The EU generally data protection, which Barrister is saying here, that is the strongest privacy and security law in the world. This regulation updated and modernized the principle of 1995 data protection directives. It was adopted in 2016 and entered into application in May 25th, 2018. I personally went for a training. That is from Barrister. But to take note of what is on the chat box, copy them, because you will relate to them when the time comes. Thank you, Barrister. Okay. All right. So I want you to understand that it's very important that we know the legal requirements for each of these policies as you now try to develop or create those policies after a consultation or after a strong agreement that arises as a result of a stakeholder meeting. Okay, very, very important. Okay, so that is.
Can I ask a question?
Do, Selassie.
Okay. As regards to us individuals, now we are going to be creating the policy or policy. Does that mean how do we know about the law of the land or before we put our policy into
enforcement?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that question. That's why, you know what I'm gaining in this place so much? Like I told you, I said both the trainer and the trainee are under construction. See, now, Now we talk about you have thrown the matter to Tony's father. Now, if you have individual policy, how do we relate the enforcement of the policy with respect to legal requirement? Very important, especially in this country. There's a policy of child abuse. There's a policy, legal requirement in this country of what is called child molestation, there's a lot of them. But then you have your own policy. My policy is that when you go out so time you come in, otherwise, I will
lock you up.
Lock you up, that's it. And locking up a child outside. You know what that means. Or putting a child on the table, when you begin to use, you know what's called cane, Nigeria cane.
Koboko.
Koboko.
Hey, nah, you know, well.
So that is you're talking about your own policy now, homo.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So have you ever considered what the legal requirement is concerning child protection? So you need to. So whether your personal policy, like Tony's dad, or public policy, you must look at the legal requirements for such that existing within the terrain, the region where you are. If I'm making a mistake, I stand to be corrected by the barristers in this place and social care. So, and I believe from experience, that's what I have known to be. Is that correct?
Sure.
There's a lot of literature on data governance in each country, and they are well documented. So the principal law is the GDPR. All other policies on data governance, on data management are derived from GDPR in terms of data. That is on the chatbots from Barrister, who is also going to be one of your tutor in terms of so many things. So the tutor, we haven't seen all the tutors here today. So the tutors will be coming, and you'll be very amazed who the tutors are. Those are people who have been trained, exercise power, and know what's called data governance. They eat it. So we're going to place you people under them in terms of training. So there is a lot of legislature on data governance in this country. So you must understand that. And this is applicable to UK and Europe. Have a very, very, take opportunity of what is on the chatbots, and you don't play with them. Because this area of data governance is one of the basic things and very primary when you are going to start your data governance journey. Okay. Now, that being said, Barrister put something there. Thank you, Barrister. So, right. So is that taking Sylvester in terms of individual and private and public?
Yeah. Yes. My question is, well, as you said, that some professionals are going to take us on. So that's what I mean. Because if the data governance, and we need to be very familiar with the laws and of the land, and before that means definitely we need to know, we need to learn
definitely
about that. Yeah, that's why I asked. But then you've answered already. You said someone who they know about, even here in Europe, which I know some of our laws here is from European Union and all kind of things. I'm okay with it. That means we got a lot to learn. You can't just wake up and you have also said it that you are just teaching us the basic one. That means we have to go deep. Yeah, we have to launch deep and deeper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even in practice, whatever you learn now is still. But when we're going to do practical, you will see what we are going to So you need to understand that. And the different kind of, protection that exists in America and here. Most cases, you're going to know them. Because
Okay.
you might work in America from here. There are people working from Nigeria now. They work in America and they work in Europe. They already know they're making their money. They even want them to be paying dollars in Nigeria. So at the end of the day, they know when they convert it. Okay. And they also want them to be paid in dollar in Ghana. And when they convert it, you know what that means. So if it's worth knowing, it has to be known. It's a simple thing. And again, it's not difficult because when you're at work, you make reference to them. The documents are all there. You just read it and apply it in your policy. So even if you're not, you can make reference to them just like a manual. Okay? Very important. Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, one of you is not is having volume problem. Is that Christina? Christina, can you hear us? Because everybody can hear. And I don't know where you actually name from. Is it what country are you from? What country are you calling from? Anyway, let me know on the chat box what you
Christiana to everyone, sir. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I say can hear now. Okay. Okay, Christiana, if you can hear now, where you actually calling from? Are you in London or outside the country? Okay, let me know. Nigeria, okay, Nigeria, okay. Christiana from Nigeria. Okay, no problem. As long as you can hear, please just try as much as possible to contribute on the chat box. Before we go further, I want you to understand, Barrister also put right there, please go to the chat box. You will always see, copy whatever that has been there. It's a way of getting yourself be acquainted with what you need to know in this, because policy is a very important thing. You said, by the way, a lot of big organizations have legal department. So don't be scared of it. You can always consult the legal department of what you want to know. Can I have a legal requirement for data protection in Europe or in this? So it's easy for you, Celeste, to get that done. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, so that's how we work in collaboration. So, all right, let's move forward. Okay. Please, I want you to take this very particular one very, very, very serious. Very, very serious. Data quality policy. Okay? Data quality policy. You know, this actually defines the standards for data accuracy, data completeness, consistency, and timeliness. It also outlines processes for data what? Validation, cleansing, and data quality monitoring. Now we're going to talk about this seriously. Okay. Okay, Christina, I think you're requesting that I should repeat the introduction now. I think I'll have time for that because the introduction is very big. Okay, but just catch up where we're doing that, and then we'll get back to you. Okay? All right. Now, if you go to the chat box, you will see what Barrister put right there. And just to complement what has been said earlier about policy, if you are having issue, because we have legal department, there will be collaborative, teamwork that can define how the direction you can go in terms of policy. But data quality policy, the essence of you becoming a data governor is to ensure that there's a data has quality. Please, number one thing you must think about in your policy is about the quality of the data. That's why you're having data quality. That's how you're having integrity. of data. Because without that integrity, there will not be a profit margin created that which you call valuable asset that people will buy into. So it's a result of quality. So to ensure that data quality, we need a policy that governs it. So as a data governance manager, that policy must define standards. You will see a practical aspect of it when the time comes. Standards for data accuracy. This data must be accurate. Okay? Must be accurate. If it's not accurate, there's a problem. For example, we have Princess Rita. And that is a name. So if you want to call Princess Rita, and you not call Princess Diamond or Princess Rhoda, is that data accurate?
It's not.
It's wrong. Very wrong. Very, very wrong. If your name is Daniel, and your name is Tony, and they call you Daniel, is that data accurate?
No.
It's absolutely wrong. And in fact, the quality of that data is distorted already. Is that correct?
Yes.
If 100% is 100% and you see 90%, is it accurate?
No.
Thank you, Celeste. Your no was very fast. Okay? So, like as Barrister just put on the chat box, he say you are the one that coordinates anything data governance by ensuring robust standards, accuracy, best interest, and working with the legal framework of the organization. You are the one responsible for that. That's why you're governance. Now, if, for example, can anyone tell me when the data is not complete? Can anyone tell me when a data is not complete?
I mean, when there is an omission of any kind, maybe.
When it's an omission. I love that. Tony, it must be, is it Rita that told you that? Or
Rita told me.
Rita told you.
When Rita told me.
Oh, thank you, Rita. I thought it's Selassie or Paul.
No. Rita told him.
Oh, Rita told him.
Yeah.
So when there is omission, oh no, in fact, this data is not complete. I love that. You want to write policy now? You need to now write policy on accuracy in that policy, in that quality policy. How accuracy should be looked into, how it should be dealt with, how should be the consequences of it, or what will make data accurate, and what will make a data complete. And if it's not complete, how to deal with it. You understand? This is how policy are. Okay, well, can you give me an example of a situation? I mean, Barrister put something right there. You know, if you have time, please make sure you copy everything that is on the chat box. When there is omissions or errors in data governance, this could lead to what? A lot of, and you know what I mean, problems and a lot of non-compliance issue. Consequently, there could be litigation and also fines. So can somebody tell us, can one of you here tell us when data are not consistent? An example. Because your first assignment will be on this.
I mean, when data are not consistent, and people will not rely on it, the reliability of that information.
Yeah. So can we have an example of inconsistency in terms of data, no consequences of it? course, if you want to talk about consequences, if you go to chatbot, barrister put something there as well. So yeah. So barrister, you want to speak?
Oh, hello, good afternoon all. Sorry, I've been very busy. I just thought I should speak on this. In terms of ensuring that we have a robust system in place, when we say there are things that are missing or things that are not represented in the way that they should be represented, this includes following what the legal framework says or the policies in the organization. And also, like we all know, the parents or the main legislation when it comes to data governance is GDPR. Let's not forget that we also have consent. When we use the word consent, Facebook sold information without getting the consent of the people that they are meant to be protecting, and they were fined billions of dollars because they did not get the consent. That is actually misrepresentation in law. So that is why they were taken to court and fined. So in terms of ensuring that, I think we'll come to that, honesty, it's a very key aspect when it comes to data governance. You know, you have to be honest. You have to be very transparent, and everything you do has to be holistic. That is in a robust way, presenting things that, like I think one of us said, you know, you cannot be telling the people that you're doing X, Y, Z whilst you're doing ABC. You know, you obviously lose credibility. And that is why we'll come to the issue of feedback. That's why I always tell people that this training we do is not just on data governance, it's holistic, it's very robust. That's why it's different from others. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barrister, for the opportunity.
Thank you.
You have spoken.
Thank you.
I know you're so busy. We're happy that you have spoken. When it comes to legal thing, we must get it right. So if we don't get it right, that's going to be a problem. And then when you have legal people within our training, we share whatever we have, put it things together to make sure you have the best. When it comes to, when you're going to come to practical, then converting all theoretical analysis to practical action, you're going to see what we're talking about. So by the time you finish the training, you'll be able to find yourself at least like somebody who has been working up to 5 years in the industry. To talk like
sorry, just to add, this is not rocket science. It's something that everyone could actually learn. You know, it's someone that you can grasp. It's something that you can grasp only if you're ready to work together with others. You know, interactive, ensure that you participate in whenever there are sections or classes, training going on. It goes a very long way. And that way we could actually, one of the things that helps a lot, you know, because from day one, we start preparing people for interviews. Whenever you're working, even in class like this or training, giving examples go a long way. For instance, we just incorporated the issue of Facebook now. When you read, it's very good for us to be current, read the news, listen to the news. You get a lot. I was telling people, I mean, Pastor, and there are people here, some of us, we got 8 jobs at the same time, 8 jobs, you know. So it's because of the training that we get from here. Some people are in the diaspora, they are everywhere working from home, you know, and it's for you to decide on which job you want to settle with, or if you want, some are even doing more than a job, you know, but then it could be very tiring and very stressful. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of information that you get from this class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barrister, for the opportunity to have, you know, enlighten people on that. If you look at it, we're not just giving you a slide and reading it. We're trying to make you not only just spectator of what we are training. We're trying to make it to be more, glorious participator of the same thing that you are learning. So the more you come with it in terms of participating, the better it is for you to now begin to have an insight into reality of what you're learning. Very, very important. Okay. Now we're talking about consistency. Yeah, Barrister, you want to speak?
Yeah, sorry, I was like I said, probably when I use the word, it's not rocket science. Probably if you could give the example of the lady that spoke about when you asked in terms of management, that will help in a because a lot of people here, I think it's probably their first time, and some that have been coming, they probably not gotten a grasp of what data governance is. Probably if you mention that example, it will also help in so that they will know exactly what data governance is all about. It's like I said in one of the chats, it's everything about the family. For instance, you might meet somebody today and you say, okay, I don't want XYZ. And the person says, I don't want ABC. And you not come to a compromise. You probably it might not be in a documented form. That is the legal framework. So probably in an easier way, but if you could give the example of the lady that spoke about management, how she manages her home and things like that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for for that. And I think
because all we do is to make data governance as easy as ABC. That is what the reason I'm actually saying this.
Okay.
Thank you.
I mean, I have a question to ask.
Yeah. Thank you, Barrister. Yeah.
Barrister, thank you very much. I have a question to ask. Yeah.
Yeah.
The question is, you remember in those days when you're growing up and you say, when I grow up, I want to be a pilot.
Yep.
So, airplanes fly in the sky, and that dream is to be a pilot, but you don't know how it's going to happen. So, and that is the way I'm looking at this program. I am very optimistic, but when you start speaking about this governance thing, it's like, with this period of 6 weeks, am I able to acquire what is required of me?
Yeah, that is why, Barrister came out with some example. Don't forget, I'm also a visiting lecturer in the university, and I teach operations and management and corporate social responsibilities, and also a very high level of management and directors of people who attend some Engr. I will have a seminar to have a presentation on the 8th of May as well. Now, it's not about coming together to learn. We must understand that some of the things you already hearing, you're already having them long time. Some of the things, just like as you related your dad issue with your personal policy. Okay. Now, in this class, first time they saw me, and it's about management issue. I asked a very simple question. I said, has anybody here managed any organization? They all kept quiet. I'm not talking about young people, talking about matured people. They all kept quiet. I asked them that, okay, when they kept quiet, one lady just stood up. He said, yeah, sir. Oh, have you managed before? He said, yes. How did you manage, or where did you manage? He said, I managed my husband. So cool. If you can manage a husband, you can manage a whole you can manage a company. And she told me how she managed her husband. Wake up this morning, wake up, go and make money. And then the next thing, when the man is bathing, she will prepare coffee, prepare this, you see, just management. I really applaud. If I'm going to be an interviewer, if she comes to me, who has I applied for a position of manager, if I ask that question, I'll be more interested in her. Because it's about how you communicate, how you're able to, articulate the way you manage. Okay? Have you ever seen anyone before pray a prayer in the morning and say, as I'm waking up this morning, let me see problems? Did somebody like that before? Celeste will say no. Okay. What of
No, I don't. I won't. I
you
won't say no. I am waiting for you to land. Then I can stress more question on Uncle Tony's question that he asked.
Okay, and thank you. And have you ever asked yourself that? Have you ever, pray that, well, if I don't see problem, let problem see me? Most cases, people will say no. But in the real sense, you don't need to pray to see problem or problem see you before you see problem presented. Because one, as a manager, for you to become a manager, you have to be a problem solver. So if you don't solve problems, you're not a manager. So policies are there to solve problems.
Yeah, I mean, I think some people are good in solving problems. My son told me, said there are no problems, then he's not comfortable. And I said, I said, you know what? I said, you know why are you saying that? He said, he likes to solve problems.
Yeah,
And I
because
said to him, no.
the people who are making the money, the billionaires in this world, they don't go for money. They go for problem solving. So they create solutions that becomes a marginal profit and value that people buy into. So it's very, very important. So, and all why you're here is to know the techniques of solving problems. Techniques of solving problems. So there are different techniques, different techniques. In management, there are some theories and models that have been propounded by professors, especially the one I really love so much, Professor Michael Porter, University of Harvard, in the Department of Business. That man is too good, really too good. He will bring a theory today. The next few years, he will counter the same. And in any case, each of those theories are applicable to different areas of enterprises. So very, very important. And we will not go there deeply at the moment. But the understanding that we must have is that if there's no problem, no budget. If there's no problem, they won't employ you to come and become data governance. So you are going there to solve problem of inconsistency, incompleteness, and also inaccuracy. So now, keeping it in context, because of time constraint we have today, and you go to the chat box. Barry also put something there. Quite frankly, problem solving is about common sense and knowing what and how others have come with models and theories in problem solving. You have the opportunity now to have this good news. Very important. Just learn that. So if any of your child or children, any of your children come to you and say, "Oh, I got this problem," just tell them, say, "Yeah, that means there's always a solution inside the problem anyway." So now let's talk about the consistency. Let me just give an example because of time constraint. If in your data configuration that a name has to be Mr. Tony, then another name at the end. So that means the first name, title, first name, middle name, and surname. So you are, from data entry, people are putting title, first name, middle name, and surname. So, and you get to a specific one or some part of it, data entry is only title, first name, and surname. Is it consistent? Is it consistent? Do we see how Sylvester there?
Oh. Yes, sir.
And so I want to ask the question. If the data configuration is expected that, okay, it's going to be title, first name, middle name, and surname. And then there are some having that, and then you get to some, they only having the title, first name, and surname, no middle name. Is it consistent?
No.
Good.
No, it's not.
Now that has to be corrected.
Sir,
That has to be corrected, because then it will not work if you enter it that way.
That's correct. Paul, Okporo, do you want to? Okparo, do you
yeah,
want?
but we said this said that put in place that each organization, if this organization says they want middle name, and this organization says they don't want middle name, I think it all depends on the organization, sir.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If the organization configuration said they want middle name, and in data entry they saw some middle names and some no middle name.
So I think you would say the data is corrupt.
Is it going to be corrupt? Do we have to solve about corrupt, or that's a very big word when it comes to corrupt? We're talking about inconsistency. Okay, now why do we think we normally have middle name? In most cases, it's because you can have Tony John Smith, and you can have another Tony Smith. So you discover that when you have two people bearing Tony Smith, it's going to cause a lot of problem. So the only thing is that I may differentiate them is maybe middle name. Okay? Or the only thing also that can differentiate them in terms of data entry, it might seriously be like addresses. Okay? So these are kind of things that need to be consistent. We have one of your, I can see one of the tutor here is I might be working now because he's working, he has worked in different parastatal insurance as well. He can give any example. Some of you here can work in insurance company. At the moment, he could be at work. It's right there. If he has the opportunity, we speak. As you see him, I can see him, Louis. So it might be the one that will take you on data quality in terms of Power BI softwares. But at the moment, I think it could be at work. I can see him here now at this moment. So that is consistency issue. And we also have timeliness. If the timing of when data should be there, if it's not there, it's not good. So we need policy on all these things. And also we need policy on process and how to process, to outline the process of how data should be validated. It should be cleansed. And there should be monitoring of the same. So please take note on number 4, very, very important. Very, very important. When it comes to data quality, that's where you're going to see what we're talking about. So, but this is a policy of it. Very, very important. Okay. And then because of time we also need to just go to the data security and access control policy. Okay. So data quality and access control policy. Samuel, are you okay? Olalega? Are you okay? Are you okay? Because I think from your end, you're tampering with the slides. I have data with me here to know what's going on.
Sir, I'm fine, sir. Sorry for that. I didn't know you can. I'm screenshot just to read it later after.
No, you don't need to screenshot because I know anybody who wants the literature, I will send it to everyone who wants
All
it.
right.
So
Sorry.
there is nothing you're doing somewhere that I don't see from afar away. It's just be quiet. So I said this time, let me just tell you that. Don't forget I'm an engineer. 37 years experience in engineering, so it's not really I know what's going on. So, but thank you for your honesty, because I know, since I just keep it quiet, because I know I'm going to send it to you. If you request, those who requested last time, I sent everything to them. And
sir, I don't know. So please, I'm waiting for you. Send mine too.
No problem. You just have to tell me, send your email, everything.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So don't send just send when I don't have your data.
Okay, thanks.
It's about data.
Data governance.
Yes.
Okay. All right, sir.
All right. So now, data security and access control policy. This policy refers to who has access to what data. Okay? So what it simply means that we work in the same company does not mean that you need to have access to everything. So the authentication and authorization procedures must be specified in that policy for someone to have access to what data they need. A requirement for securing data in transit and at rest. So in trying to transfer the data to that must be specified, defined, and to the place of where the data will rest. So these need to be addressed, okay? And the use of firewalls and encryption and access logs, very important. Access log is who has access to it. Like as Samuel was doing here, I know he has access doing something. I already know it. So also when you are a data governance, you must have a log who have access. Anytime you access a company, like, this Zoom, anybody who come on the Zoom, I see it on my phone. So it's very important. And you have to have this security in place to make sure, okay, now an engineer wants a data concerning somebody in the company, and the head of the engineering wants to have a data concerning the account of someone in the engineering department, and not try to get data from accounts. You can't get it except there's authorization from the data owner. Why do you need it? Okay, have a requisition procedure pass. And that process set up, you need to tell me why do you need it, and when do you need it, and how do you need it, and how long will you use it before you can discard it. And it must not be, what is the certificate of discarding or deleting? It must be authorized. These are the log, access log you're going to get. Don't forget, security is part of these components. Okay, Barrister, want to say something?
Yeah, thank you very much. Like we said previously, it's always very, very good to give examples and bringing this home. For instance, in the office, people have to do their work and send to managers, supervisor for sign off. The access to sign and to see everyone's work is not open to all the staff. It's only those that are managers, supervisors that have access to see what that staff has written and to sign it off. And also to go through and the staff that had completed that work to say, okay, I think you probably didn't do this very well. I think we probably should have, because we have what is known as formal and informal supervision. So you could just call this person and say, oh, do you want to have a catch up? This is what we're saying when we talk about access. An organization, and this access is actually granted by the IT department. This is the collaborative working we're talking about. So at the end of the day, even in a university, I think Pastor always gives this example, in a school, even in let's say in a university, not you. as an engineering student, you might not have access to what the law students have in their portal.
Very important.
Yes. So it's very important that we get this clear when we're talking, and it's very important we give examples. It's very, very important. That way it drives it home. You know, that's why this is not an academic section. It's not an academic session. This is why it's different from a university or a college setting. You know, this is actually more of professionals coming together, because at the end of the day, you want to be a professional in data governance and in other fields that data. In fact, quite frankly, for those that work in the health and care sector, they will tell you that everything they do is actually about data governance. Big organizations now, everything they do, it's strictly data governance, because you cannot do anything without ensuring that you comply with the data. And some organizations, they always ensure that you do training every year or every 2 years on data governance. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Louis, do you want to say a word? I can see you.
Rigo, sir.
Randall.
I totally agree with what Barrister was saying. He touched all the points that were actually important about data security, access control. Like what I can brush on past lectures and what you have also taught. Data itself for security itself is for a need-to-know basis. And that way it creates the poly itself, from my experience, it's kind of like a way of everyone, it gets everyone involved, and more of identifying who can have access to what data, to what level they can have it. And also, my own opinion is kind of like, I'm going to use my own words, it's more like we are all policing each other. It's a security. For you to get access to this, even though you're the boss, you have to come through me, even though I'm a lower staff. And in other details, there are some details about this customer or company that if you have to get those details, you have to ring another people, and they will have to ask you, what are you actually looking for? Because they have the right to ask you. And from that, you have to let them know, oh, this other department is asking me, I need authorization for you to let me in to do this and do that. And that way, everybody's aware. And besides, apart from them being aware by it physically, the system and the structure itself records you going in there. So they know who goes in there to do whatsoever. And they ask you. And there are just some levels of access where the IT team sets up restriction. If you don't have access there, you can't go there. For you to even go in there, you can't even go in there. You have to ask this from other departments who have that access level to go in there and then look into that information. And if it's sensitive data, unfortunately, they're not going to give that to you. It has to come. For instance, I've got instances working at the insurance level where people's cars are stolen. And then the customer calls you, even though you see the customer's details there. The customer says, oh, can you actually see my car? Yes, I could see it, but I'm not going to tell you. I need authorization from the police. Even if you are the owner of the car, unfortunately, I can't tell you. I'll tell you, get the police to ring us. We'll talk to the police, not you. It's just for these are just measures put in place to protect data itself. So that's my input on it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want all of you to really thank Louis and Barrister, because they don't really have time. And I think Louis is also at work. We can see him. And at the end of the day, having the opportunity to speak is a great pleasure indeed. He's trained here and is very powerful. He's going to be one of your tutors when the time comes. So at the end of the day, please, if he tells you something, it's more strict than me. If he tells you, let your computer be on, do this, you must do what he said he will do. I know him very well. So that being said, what he said is very primary, very, very primary.
May I, Pastor?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Please, for those coming into this class, take assignments. Important. Another thing I will encourage, I always tell those who come in and those who are up to where we are now, for those of you coming in, please, 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 data governance is not a place to be quiet to. For all my Nigeria people, you can't be quiet here. It's an interactive department. indirectly, we have to bump heads together and get a result. And let's take Pastor here as a stakeholder. He'll be waiting for his information. And he has hired all of us as data governance. And we have to make his life simple because he has to make decisions. So it's not about what I see. I have to reason with you like what you see. And you tell me your points on or reasons why you see things that way. And then we liaise together and come to a conclusion, which can be 2 or 1. It depends.
No.
So it's a group where you have to be talking. Silence does not help. Please, it doesn't matter what level you know or what level you have become. And it makes you confident because it's a field where you talk to people live, even on Teams or whatever it is. It brushes your boldness up. You have to speak why this mouse here is black. Your reason why you think it is blue or should be blue. You have to state it and make it clear. That's what data governance is all about. Structuring to make growth. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you can record
Thank you, sir.
The first time you came to this place, I told you that what he just said, you must be prepared to talk. Otherwise, if you're not ready to talk, when you will not be in Lewis, and because Lewis will make sure you talk. That's one thing. Very important. I know when it comes to that. So very, very important. And data security is as one of the components is part of also what is called data protection. So there are difference between data protection and data security. And data protection is about data privacy and data security. When it comes to that, we're going to differentiate them. But then access control policy, these are about policy on security and the access control. What is your expectation is as a data governance, and also how you can relate the same in and enshrine into the corporate goals of the company itself, so that every stakeholder, especially the functional department, who most likely to be the data owners, able to understand and keep it in their in them, and also for this data stewards to enforce when the time comes. Okay. Thank you so much, Louise, for this opportunity, because I know you are work and barrister. Difficult to have these people, and when we have them, we thank God for everything. Okay, now moving forward, we talk about data privacy policy. So the last one we treated was data security and authorized control. This is data policy privacy, which also is part of data protection. Okay, this policy aligns with data protection regulation like GDPR, and this is Europe, HIPAA, this is US, and covers topics such as subject consent. So this is where where best practice will come to play. If you must have a best practice by standard, you must acquaint yourself with this regulation, these 2 regulations. Probably as Tony will want me to do it. Tony will want me to do it. Good. And then and then underline. Is that okay? Thank you. So very, very important. We also have different one as well, especially in US and California. They talk about this CIP is about health data as well in America. So but it's good for you to really, really get to be grounded with what is expectation is in this. In any case, if you're not well grounded, you have legal department within the enterprise you are working. So you can request for what is obtainable there, then you enshrine into your policy. Then that will be incorporated corporate goals in the program of your data governance as well. So very important. The main thing we're talking about here is about consent. When we're going to be dealing with ethical consideration in data governance, taking into cognizance the global challenges in context, you will be seeing a lot of this. Some of the questions you'll be actually interviewed is going to come from this concept. Okay, and don't forget that all the interview questions that we're going to be giving you, we're going to provide answers to them right here as well. So is that okay? Is that okay, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, if you say it's not okay, then if it's not okay, then I will give the question to you people to go and answer. Okay. Now, let's go to data sharing and collaboration policy. Very, very important. When you hear of collaboration, you're talking about communication as well and teamwork for a dream work. Very important. Now, this policy outlines the guidelines for data sharing. So you must share data to, it's not about say somebody sends something to you on WhatsApp, PAM, MP4. Then the next thing you just send it to how many people? Bro. It's not good now. It's not really good. Even someone will send it into you. You say, if you love me or if you love God, they are trying to put you in a position of guilty. Send it about 10 people. That's nonsense. Your sending is not determination to know whether you love God or you love me or whatever. No, you have to have personal policy as well. Like Tony's dad, I will always refer to that. Okay? Very, very important. It's not everything you just share. As it comes, you share. You don't even know what you're sharing. You don't look at the authenticity of what you're sharing. Look at, we're talking about you look at the security of it, the authentication, very important. Now, it's not compulsory that you have to share anything. Is it authentic? I was watching the other day, I was just watching a video sent to me on WhatsApp. I was watching somebody, no matter how you throw something, what's it called? Is it, what's it called? Badminton ball. Badminton. If you throw the badminton to the person, if he plays it wherever, he must enter one specific hole that is created. No matter how the person plays it, he must enter that. I said, this person must be a professional. At the end of the video, not knowing that anytime that guy plays the thing, somebody will just put one of that badminton ball in that hole. So the video initially was not showing the person sampled the thing there, but at the end of the thing, if I have not seen that, I would just say an expert I began to share. It's not really good because you must understand that any data you're sharing, you must really make sure it's authentic. And you, being a data governance in an enterprise, must have a policy of sharing. You don't share data anyhow, unless you are authorized to do the same in the policy. So, or you must follow policy before you actually share data. And also, when you are collaborating with people, if you look at the chatbots, barrister will say, please let make it a point of duty to find anything sent to us before sharing it. If this is very important, we must really, really look at it critically to make sure it is true before you share. And if you are even authorized by policy to share, you do so. And if you are collaborating with people, make sure the policy governing collaboration is very important. You might be, dealing with issues that are very sensitive and you're not getting it right. So it's good to have a fact check before you get that done. Okay. This policy outlines the guidelines for sharing data. There must be principles set out for such sharing and with internal and external stakeholders. So not everything external holders need to understand. By the way, do we understand the word stakeholders? Have we heard the word stakeholders before?
Mm-hmm.
Who said mm-hmm? Is this Celeste? My very good friend.
Yes.
So what is the meaning of stakeholder?
In my little knowledge, stakeholders are, let's say, example, like you have a company, you form a company of, let's say, care company. The stakeholders are the people that have put money together to be running the place. They are the principal people of the company. Without them, the company cannot move on because they put their assets into it too. Well, that's my little knowledge of stakeholders. And so as a bank, we got stakeholders in companies. Without they take the principal, even profits that you make, because without them, the company is not going to be functioning.
Okay.
It's not there.
Okay, and thank you, but you made a point, but I think in your description of that stakeholder, you're talking about shareholder. Yes. So, Paul.
Okay.
Paul. Borigo, eh?
Stakeholders, only I would say they are the think tank of an organization.
They are what? Paul, if I may ask, where are you calling from? Are you
principal of the organization?
Paul, where are you calling from? Are you in London or where?
Birmingham.
Sorry, Birmingham.
Yes.
Okay, your reception seems to be a little bit. You can repeat it, or if you test it on the WhatsApp, I will read it for you. But we want to hear you. Okay. If you can speak again, because I want to hear you. Or
I said stakeholders are the think tank of any organization.
Okay. You know, I attended evening school, so I don't really understand think tank. So that if you can break it down. Yeah.
I think stakeholders are decision makers. They are the one making the decision of the organization.
Okay. Are you a Paul's friend because you are Paul too? Are you?
I'm Paul's friend.
Okay.
Because it's Paul.
Because it's Paul.
Yeah.
Now you'll be very amazed of this definition of stakeholder. A stakeholder is someone who is interested in your business. Simple. A stakeholder may be a shareholder, but there's no shareholder without being a stakeholder. A stakeholder is someone who may be interested in your business, but it may not be shareholder. But there's no shareholder without being a stakeholder because you have a stake. So what that means is that anyone who is interested in your business is a stakeholder. That must be known. Okay? That must be made known. Anybody who is interested in your business is called stakeholder. So for example, you need to tell me what are the stakeholders of this company. I'm going to ask you now. Please. Okay. Now, Paul Okparo actually defines stakeholder as being somebody a decision maker who's interested in moving the organization forward. So that's how you define think tank. So, as for me that attended evening school, I understand the word think tank now. Okay. So now, please take note. I want you to be like, if you are the director of a company, like as Sylvester said, the director of a company, this company is restaurant. Do you know what's called restaurant?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, if you are the owner of a restaurant, who are your stakeholders?
Tony. The people who come to buy.
That means the customers.
Customers, yeah.
Thank you very well. Who is speaking?
They are interested.
Who is speaking? Is this Alasi or Rita?
No, it's Rita.
Rita, okay. I'm only asking because I know voice now. Yeah. So Rita said the client, okay, is your stakeholder. Is that correct?
According to your definition, you say anyone who is interested.
According to my definition, according to the right definition.
The right definition. You say anyone who is interested in your business is your stakeholder. So customers are interested in buying food from you.
Absolutely. You are right. I'm only trying to, because if you listen carefully, Barry Saivu said, coming from example, if you bring example, it makes you understand concept a lot. As a matter of fact, when you go for interview, work from example, because by next training, everybody will be speaking specifically on something. Yes. By the end of today, I will give you a training that you need to get certificate on before you come to the next one. It's not it's meant for those who are ready. You know, Louis told you last time that you got to just be ready. But I don't have any problem with people like Tony Salasi and Sylvester Ojobo.
But you have problem with Rita.
No. I'm only trying to make you, I want you to understand that.
Yeah, I'm just
okay. Now, Rita, you said very well. Yeah, another person, please. And of course, we're going to close on this note, so I want everybody to speak right now. Otherwise, I will tell Louis to handle you. So Rita has said so. Yeah. Who would be your stakeholder?
My stakeholders will be my clients.
Your what?
My clients.
In
the care sector.
No, I'm not talking about care sector. I'm talking about restaurant. So you are
restaurant. Well, as Rita said it already. So
no, you can say anything apart from what Rita said.
No.
Yeah. The people also that supply you with the food to
supplier. Thank you so much.
Are your stakeholders as well.
That's very good. Samuel Ajibola, you want to speak?
Yes, I think apart from the client, the supplier, even people that are working, that are
employees.
Thank you very much. The staff. Okay. Somebody already said it. Ekurome said something. Your staff. So he's working at the moment, but he contributed on the distance. So you said the same thing as Olaliga. That's very good. Thank you so much. Two people said something at the same time, so I will allow it. So two of you get off right now on that. So another person, please, because I'm marking register. I don't run away because I already know you. So who will be a stakeholder on your restaurant?
The public.
The public. What do you mean by public? Because
Rita, you said the thing, you are going to say a different thing again.
Yeah. I'm talking about those who have not spoken. I'm talking about those who have not spoken. So you want me to call your name because very important. You must speak and you must put on the chat box. If you don't know how to speak right now, chat box can work, but don't forget that you must speak later when we're going to be dealing with issue. Right? Okay? Right. So we have Tony. I'm only following my list. Tony, who is, if you are a director of restaurant, who is your stakeholder? Okay. And Rita? No, I mean Princess Rita. Okay. So Paul.
Which of the Paul?
No, Paul, you have spoken now. Yeah, this is Paul. Paul Iruto.
Yeah.
Who is your stakeholder? If you are a director of a company, of a restaurant,
the contractors, who are they with?
Contractors. That's very good. Contractors. The contractors that are doing what? Maybe doing maintenance or whatever.
Maintenance, yeah.
Let me say contractors, because they are interested in your business. Who else again? Because you need to have the data for everybody, your supplier, a good supplier, a bad one. Your contractor, you need to have their data. The client itself coming to eat your food, yeah, sometimes you send an email to them, or you phone them, have a QR code they can scan, and you automatically they put their name, video, how they feel about their customers' insight, a common experience. So that will help you in data gathering, or know whether your restaurant is running well or not, or you need to have a variety of. So these are all important things you need to. So what are the other people who are interested in your business? Okay.
People who are not satisfied with your food that you're preparing in your restaurant. These are unsatisfied customers.
Those we're talking about people who have come and they don't like it anyway, no problem.
Yeah.
Apart from that, who are other people? Do you want me to
Have we forgot about the employees?
The council.
The what?
Council.
And you are not clapping for Rita. Anybody, you are not clapping for Rita. I want somebody to hit it.
Yeah.
You're not clapping for Rita. The council. Why do you think the council is interested in your business, your restaurant?
They'll get money. They'll charge you.
Money. You need to pay rent. The rent you are paying council tax.
Yeah.
So, now I'm right on. I think everybody's on fire now. Yeah, I want you to know right on. Yeah. Who else again?
State food inspector.
In fact, nobility. You are not clapping. Don't worry, I will clap for you right here. Yeah, because they're interested. They want to know whether there is safety, health and safety. Inspectors. You see now, those inspectors are not shareholders, but they are stakeholders. I just want you to understand that. Because when they come, they're going to look at your policy of health and safety. You see, policy comes in. So every stakeholder I'm not talking about shareholders.
Stakeholders.
You must have a data put in place for the stakeholder to know. That's about communication, collaborative with them, sharing with them. You see what I'm talking about? So we have to come from this. There are things we already know, but it's like we do not know them until you need to govern the data that you have in your enterprise. Who else again, please? Thank you, Noble. Thank you, Noble.
The food hygiene.
Thank you, food hygiene. Food hygiene. All right. See, the people are on fire now. Yeah. Who else again? I'm talking about restaurants. Data governance work in restaurants, conglomerate of restaurant, big company, that has so many, conglomerates. In fact, as a group.
The police can still be
the police.
Because if you have a problem, you can call on them.
The police
fire service.
Fire service people. That's good. Why these two people are the people topping? Yeah. Fire people. Yeah. Who else again? Who else again?
The
what?
The revenue people.
I want everybody to clap for Paul.
Revenue.
In fact, I want people to clap for Paul, everybody. The inner revenue are interested in your business. What are they coming to do?
They want money.
They want money.
The account.
Thank you. Are they shareholders? No, but they
are. No, they want money.
You must bring your data before them. How many people have
customer come?
How many customers? How much have you said? Very important. They are stakeholders. So that's why I told you that you could be a stakeholder, but you're not a shareholder. But you cannot be a shareholder without being a stakeholder because you must have a stake.
Okay.
You see the difference now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's one that when during my course of training people and even lecturing people, one person came across to me heavily. It made me think, say, wow, I never thought of it before. He said, I asked, he said, sir, can I tell you one of the stakeholders? I say, he said, thieves. Eh? Eh?
Yes.
It sounds so much to me, but I have to be a reasonable person by seeing where the perspective, the areas is coming from, the angle is coming from. I said, can you explain, please? He said, yeah, these are very interested in your business because they want to know how much you're making so that we know how much they will steal. That is really big, and that is the truth. If you don't have anything in the warehouse, they can't burgle it. They can't have they have burglary in. So this is very important. So that being said, this is a comfortable place for us to stop today. Any question?
No.
Any question, please?
Yes, sir. Me.
Okay.
As where Uncle Tony ended it, that look, you want to be a pilot. They are teaching you how to fly the plane and everything, but they are teaching you everything about the plane, how it goes into the air, what you need to do, blah blah blah. But you don't know how to even enter the play the pulpit, the culprit before starting it. Where am I coming from? You see, me, all this you are teaching, I'm so much interested. I am very, very, maybe theoretically inclined to it, but computer, I don't know. That computer is my problem. Why I don't even want to go in for anything. I've got everything in stock into my mind here, but I don't know how to do the computer. So how do I?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can tell you that you are even the person who may be faster than another person when the time comes. It's very easy.
So you teach me how to go on the computer and do.
We are very patient in dealing with. One of the person who is in this cohort for working today, he said, no matter how it is, I will be in this cohort, though I'm working. But the first thing I must tell you is I'm very, very slow in learning. I say we are even more patient in dealing with those who are very determined.
You need to pray for me and deliver me because it's like a